All right, you can resume record now.
Hi Zoltan, hi Yvonne, hi Kat. So
Good afternoon.
thank you for coming to hear why discovery calls fizzle out and how to stop it. So if anyone's ever seen anything I do before, I'd just like to start off with a little ditty. Mesdames et Messieurs, meine Damen und Herren, ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention please? Do you wake every morning in shame and despair to discover your bank balance is awfully bare? Ooh, 'cause your sales are not there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can now rest with ease without any fees. Try Ian Genius's ingenious workshop fixer. It'll do the trick, sir. True, sir, true. Was it dour, sir? No. A fun-packed 3/4 of an hour, sir. Just like a great workshop ought to be. So let me introduce myself. I am Ian Genius with an Ian Genius approach to selling. This is why discovery calls fizzle out, and I'm joined by an absolutely fantastic friend of mine, not stooge, sorry, she's not here to gently suggest the right answers. A very good friend of mine, Kat, who puts the me wow in marketing. So if your marketing strategy is all a little bit clunky and you want your marketing engine purring, then I heavily suggest you speak to Kat. So Kat will help me out at a few bits with pre-planned staged answers to make it look like I'm really good at improvising, if that's all right. So what we're going to do, this will be live to everyone in the Zoom room and anyone that joins in a bit. It'll also be on LinkedIn Live for the next sort of 20 minutes. If you want to join in for the remaining 20 minutes and any questions and answers, please join the register on the Zoom link that's gone into the chat. Is that right, Kat? Has that gone in? And there will be freebies for those that join on the LinkedIn and stay to the end. There'll be access. I'll be giving a free copy of my 65-page ebook, The Perfect Pitch, how to stand out and grab attention, how to create a pitch to be delivered, and all sorts of other bits and pieces. So let me just start with this. So just a super quick background. I'm a man of exceedingly limited talent. I think everyone in this room already knows this. I'm a man of exceedingly limited talent. And one of the things I can do, I only have two skills. I can impress people and irritate people. So what I'm going to try to do today is both, if that's all right. I'm going to try to impress people and irritate people. So my background was a degree in mathematics, and I fell into sales in 1998, and I wasn't confident selling myself, and I was uncomfortable bringing up my price, and I dread using closing techniques. I found a lot of sales approaches were pushy, sleazy, manipulative, dishonest. I didn't like convincing people and persuading people. It made me feel very uncomfortable. So for the last 25 years, I've been creating an Ian Genius approach, which makes it so easy to buy. I don't need to get better at selling. And now I show businesses how to improve their sales conversion without getting better at selling, by merely making it easier for clients to make far better buying choices, typically using 6-year-old simple numbers, Fisher Price simple logic, and just natural conversation. So if I said to you, would you love to double your sales conversion? What would you say? Would you love to double your sales conversion? Would you love more clients, taking more golds, charging more money? Would that be good? Of course it would be good. What if you could double your sales conversion without getting better at selling? Would you even believe me? Right? Is that even possible, Ian? You can double your sales conversion without getting better at selling. Well, hopefully you're open-minded. Let's find out. So today we are going to cover the differing ways that discovery calls and conversations fizzle out. We're going to look at why potential clients make bad choices, why even spending clients still make bad choices, how much money this costs you, and then what to say and what to avoid saying in discovery calls, whether they're face-to-face or Zoom, to stop discovery calls fizzling out. Now, Einstein said that genius is the art of making complex ideas simple. Well, I'm Ian, Earth's thickest genius, making sales 6-year-old simple. So again, this is an approach that would help. Typically, it would help an ambitious business owner, an ambitious solopreneur, typically convert something in the region of 10 to 18 extra spending clients a year. This approach will work for any business. It doesn't matter if you have a product or a service. It doesn't matter if you have an emotional service or a technical product or a commodity service. It doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter if it's a service or a product, and it doesn't matter whether you're a solopreneur or a sales team. It also doesn't matter whether you've just started or you've been in sales for years. What it does matter is that you have a burning desire to do even better. You'd love even more clients, taking even more gold services for even more money. You just need some ambition. You're not perfect. You're not perfect, and there's something even better than you're doing. You've got the honesty to say that you're not perfect, and you've got, you have some frustrations, because if you have no frustrations, I have no solutions to you, right? And the last thing is that you've got an open mind. So if you can think, for the purpose of this, I can improve my sales without getting better at selling. If you go in thinking, I'm not sure, you're already getting in your own way. So we know businesses would love more clients, taking more services, charging more money. Who wouldn't want that, right? So one of the biggest frustrations is discovery calls fizzling out. And when I use the word discovery call, I don't mind what you call it. You could call it a taster session. You could call it a sales call. It doesn't matter. This is the meeting where they come to you with a problem. You've got the solution. And at the end of it, they may use you or may not use you. This isn't the one-to-one getting to know you meeting. The getting to know you, getting to know what, those sorts of meetings. You follow each other on networking and they find out about you, you find out about them. That's not this. This is the meeting where they've genuinely given you 20, 30 minutes of your time. They have a problem, you have the solution. So, my background is problem solving. So actually, does anyone here deliberately go looking for problems in their life? No? Sultan, do you deliberately go looking for problems in your life?
Absolutely, I do actually, yes.
Good. Now, most people will say no, because they say, Ian, I'm not a complete lunatic like you are. I'm not deliberately going looking for problems in my life. The thing is, if you've got a problem, you can find a solution. If you find a solution, you will make progress. Problem, solution, progress. Now let's look at the opposite. No problem. I can't solve nothing. So no problem, brilliant, but no solution either. No problem, no solution, stay the same. So if I said, would you prefer to stay the same or would you prefer to progress? What would you say? Progress, right? Well, progress needs solutions. Solutions need problems. Now, if that was as easy as that, why doesn't everyone constantly look for more problems? The reason is, if you've got a problem and you can't solve it, that's now stress. And no one likes stress. And now you don't go looking for any more problems anymore. But you needed problems to find solutions to make progress. So you're stuck in this horrible mess. So I said to you, the big problem is discovery calls fizzling out, right? Now, one of the very key reasons why discovery calls fizzle out is they don't understand. The potential client doesn't understand. Have you ever had the sort of scenario where you don't think they understand how your solution solves their problem? Do you ever get to the end of a discovery call and you think, I'm not sure they quite get this? Yeah? So that's frustrating. They don't understand how your solution solves their problem. So that leaves them to guess. That's the only, if you don't understand, you have to guess. Well, do you want to guess when money's involved? Chances are no, right? Thing is, it's worse than that. If it was only they didn't understand how your solution solved their problem, that would be one thing. The thing is, in many cases, they don't even think they've got a problem, right? If they don't think they have a problem and you've got a solution, you're solving bugger all. Imagine you went to the doctor and the doctor said to you, Kat, I've got a lovely cream for you. You'd go, hang on, I haven't told you what's wrong with me yet, doctor, right? Solution follows problem. If they don't think they've even got a problem, pointless. Don't mention a solution, waste of time. So let's say they know they've got a problem, but they think they've got this problem over here, and you know they've got this problem over here. Has that ever happened where they've told you they've got a problem, but it isn't actually the right problem? Has that ever happened? They're confused. They got it partially right, but they're not quite right what the real problem is. Well, your solution's not going to line up anyway. You'll solve this one. They think they've got this one. So they need to know they've got a problem, and they need to know it's the right problem. And they need to own it. If you try to help someone that doesn't admit they've got the problem, they know it exists. They know the problem is there, out there in the world. It's just not really theirs. Well, you're trying to help an alcoholic who's not willing to admit he's an alcoholic. Often, I don't know if it's happened to you, it's happened to me more times than I can wag a stick at, and I'm pretty good at wagging sticks. I want to help them more than they want helping. And that's, you're like, how can that be right? Surely we can't want to help them more than they want helping. So they've got to realize they have a problem. They've got to realize it's the right problem. They've got to own the problem. Yes, I've got it. But there's one more stage. They've got a problem and they know it's the right problem and they admit the problem. But they think they've got pins and needles, right? It's only a mild inconvenience. It's only once in a while. They think they've got pins and needles. You can see their arm is about to fall off. But it doesn't matter that you can see their arm's about to fall off because they think they've got pins and needles. And no one's desperate to solve pins and needles. It's just a mild inconvenience. That big bracket sits before your solution. So let's look at what they've got to have now. They've got to realize they have a problem. They've got to know what the real problem is. They've got to own the problem. They've got to realize how bad it is. Now they've got to understand how your solution solves their problem. There's no point even mentioning the solution till that bit's done. The problem is a non-existent problem. It's not the right problem. It's not bad enough. They haven't owned it. So quick tip, sell problems. Don't tell people what you do. Tell them the problems you solve. Until they register the problem and they understand it, they're guessing. Right? They're just guessing. Now, I was deliberately awkward at the beginning because I said this is about stopping discovery calls fizzle out. But I've been very vague deliberately. I told you, impress people and irritate people. I've been deliberately vague by what I mean. What does that even mean? What is discovery calls fizzling out? What I mean by that is, so here are some of the examples, right? This is the one that people would typically think a discovery call fizzling out meant. That is that, let's say you had 10 conversations, 3 of them convert into spending clients. The problem is 7 out of 10 say no, right? It's not the ones that said yes, it's the ones that said no. They said no to a problem that they had, that you had the solution at. So 3 out of 10 said yes, it's 7 out of 10 saying no. So that would appear to be what does a discovery call fizzling out is. What is it? It's that, when they say no, but it's not just that. It could be that, let's imagine, for example, you didn't convert 3 out of 10. Let's imagine you said you converted 7 out of 10. And let's imagine I was born again this morning, so I believed you. right? If you're converting 7 out of 10, one of three things is happening. One, you're a pathological liar because you're not getting 7 out of 10. Two, you've either worked with me, but I must have Alzheimer's because I don't sodding remember it, right? Or option three, you're not charging enough money, right? Got to be one of those three. No one. I've seen people with trays of luxury chocolates in Marks and Spencer's that couldn't give 7 out of 10 people. 7 out of 10. Will you stop? Right? But let's just imagine I was born again this morning and you said, I only get the hottest referrals in the world, Ian, and I get 7 out of 10 and I chose to believe you this day. But we're trying to find ways to improve. So your frustration is that of the 7 people that said yes, 6 of the 7 went for the bronze. Instead of the gold, they missed out on help. 6 of the 7 went for one of the 3 services you're recommending. Missing out on 2. They're yeses. They're just not very good yeses. No one wins. They're missing out on your help. You miss out on their business. There's no winner in that game. So the first one's getting no's instead of yeses. The second one's getting naff yeses instead of brilliant yeses. There is one more opportunity. Let's imagine again you converted 7 out of 10 because I still believe you. I'm still that stupid and gullible, right? I still believe you 7 out of 10. I mean, they said, what's it? 8 out of 10 dog owners prefer pedigree chum. I'm sure they do if you keep doing enough tests and you ignore all the 1 out of 10s they got, right? 7 out of 10 say yes. They always take your gold and always take all 3 services, or even if you haven't got, they take what you recommend. But you're not charging what your service is truly worth. And that doesn't mean you're not charging a lot of money. It just means you say, well, I'm charging £1,000. What's it worth? 1,500 quid. All right. So you're either getting no's instead of yeses, naff yeses instead of good yeses, or you're not charging enough for a yes. If you haven't got any of those problems and you've got a desire to do better, you're even more delusional than I am. Because now you've forced yourself into a cul-de-sac. Now you're saying out of 10 people, everyone says yes. They say yes to everything you recommend and only the best, and you charge an infinite amount of money. That doesn't even exist. You could just add 50 quid to your cost and it'd be more. You'd make more money in less time. Now, reality is not only do people have one of those problems, most people have all 3 in different amounts. They're not quite getting as many yeses as they'd like. The yeses aren't that great and they're not charging enough for a yes. Does anyone here, no one's going to say, now you've got to say you're delusional like I am, right? Does anyone recognize any of those frustrations, getting no's instead of yeses, getting naff yeses, or not charging enough for a yes, right? If you haven't, either you don't want to do better, or you've got, or you can't, if there's no way to improve a conversation, you just got to have a lot more conversations, right? That's working hard. Improving the outcome of a conversation is working clever. So let me just make sure I don't lose my track with my whittling on. So we've got one of 3 problems or a mixture of them. So you've got to pick a problem, right? And I think we've done about 20 odd minutes, haven't we now, Kat? So so again, this is me being cretinous. How do I stop the live streaming?
Go back to more.
Oh, I see it. I can see it up here. So for anyone that's just been enjoying this on LinkedIn Live, in the comments section, there is a link to quickly register and come onto this. There'll be a lot more if you can endure it. Questions and answers at the end, freebies to a free £37 ebook and loads of other promo bits and pieces. So I'd love you to join us. So click on the link. You can come on in a minute. It'd be great.